So we're mid-December now. I'm already thinking and planning things for next year. So one thing that I want to get sorted is water storage. You can never have too much water. The years vary. This year I didn't have to bring any extra water down, and I didn't get anywhere near running out of water here. We had quite a wet year, and I've got quite a few tanks I didn't even touch. But last year, 2022, big heat wave. I think we had at least 8 weeks without water, without rain, and I just ran out everywhere, and I was having to bring about 1,000 litres a week down in the van. So I just want to sort of cover myself really in case we get another heat wave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this bed here. I wasn't too sure when I put this bed in whether it was a good idea. It's a little bit tight to the building and it's a bit of a pain to get around, so I'm just going to clear it out. Got some swede and some leaks in here. Clear them out. I'm going to rake the compost up. That can be reused back into my composting system as a brown, and then I'm going to wood chip this area. And I've got 2 new 1,000 litre tanks. Well, new, they're old, but they're new for this area. So I'm going to plonk those next to this 1,000 litre here. So I collect water off this part of the roof into the tanks behind the camera, and then the extension collects just into this 1,000 litre tank. And of course, through the winter, everything's overflowing. I'm just losing thousands of litres of water just onto the floor. So I want to get it done now so it's got the rest of the winter to fill the tanks up. But I've also been given, very nicely, a girl that my son knows. She works for a company, and she managed to get me 7 300 litre IBCs, and they're good quality ones, nice plastic pallets, nice metal frames, and they look like they've only been used once, so they just need a bit of a clean out. They've had food oil in them, just need a bit of a clean, and then they're going to come here as well. So it's going to give me a nice extra lot of water right here next to my solar power, so that I can run my electric pumps. I've asked Santa for a nice new inverter. I've only got a 300 watt inverter at the moment, so I should be getting a 1500 watt with a 3000 watt peak, and that can run my high pressure electric water pumps without me having to buy petrol to run my petrol pump. I also had a little bit of a mishap with my petrol pump. I usually put it away for the winter, take it home, and I just kept leaving it, and we had a -6 down here, and it's cracked the casing, so it's a bit knackered now. The pull start had already broken, and I couldn't find new parts for it, and I was having to start it with a drill, a cordless drill. A friend of mine's going to try and repair it, so I can keep it as a spare. But what I'm going to try and do going forwards, having all this water right here by the solar, is I'm going to build myself a little box, and I'll have my inverter right there, wired up to my battery banks, and I can just get a hose manifold, and I can run hoses out wherever I need them with a drip system, especially for my potatoes, because having the potatoes in containers, if I'm out at work and I don't get down here for any more than an hour or so in the evening, they did dry out a few times, and I think that's possibly why they were a bit on the small side. Even though I was quite happy with the harvest, they were a bit on the small side. I really want to focus on getting self-sufficient in potatoes. That's quite an important thing for me, so that's the main reason I want to have this little system. I'm not necessarily going to have it on a timer. It's just being able to come down here and just flick a switch and leave it on for 20 minutes. You know, I can measure, they're adjustable, so I can measure how much per minute comes out, and just to have it automated but just at the flick of a switch, it would just make things a whole lot easier for me. So basically, first job, I'm going to clear this bed and get it raked up before it gets dark. I've got about an hour of light left, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll get the tanks in place. So I've cleared the bed with the next day now, and I've put the 2 1,000 litre tanks here. I'm not worrying about getting them too level. I have put a brick, about half a dozen bricks along this side, because the land is sloping up, just to get them roughly level so that I can get as much water in as possible. But other than that, I'm fine. The tank that I've got the tap on, that is level, so I can get my watering can under it. But all of these tanks, I'm just going to pump out of them, so I'm not worried about the taps. So what I'm going to do, these little ones I've got to put this way to get them all in so I don't block the gate. And I'm going to fill them and just check that they're not leaking, check the seals. I have got some screw-on caps for some of them. I think I've got about 5, but I've got 7 tanks, so I just want to see if they're leaking at all, if the seals have gone, before I stack another tank in front of them. So I'll fill them up as I go and sort of check the seals as I'm going. So what I'm going to do, I've got this, what is just basically a dirty water pump. I think it pumps particles up to about 18 mil. So I use this for moving all my water around from tank to tank, because you get a bit of algae and stuff like that. It's just the quickest way of doing it. It's only a 400 watt pump. It's not high pressure, but it's high volume. So it uses this big, I think that's 1 inch pipe, and it can empty a 1,000 litre tank in about 6 or 7 minutes. I think it's high volume, not high pressure. So all I do is I've got the tap from this tank, comes through under this bit of wood I just hold in place with some bricks. So I turn the tap on full. This will probably pump it faster than it comes out the tap, but it has a float switch, so it just click on and off as this sheep drinker fills up. And this is a 2,500 litre tank, 2 or 2,500, I can't remember, but basically I want to keep this, if anything's empty, I want the tanks that are collecting water to be empty, so that they're there waiting for the rain basically. And we've got a big grey cloud coming, so I want to start pumping now so I can start collecting and keeping all my tanks nice and full. So as you can see, it flows at a pretty good rate. Like I say, 6-7 minutes I reckon, 8 at most to empty a 1,000 litre tank. So I'm going to get these all topped up with this tank here. The submersible pump doesn't fit in these IBC tops. I have to use my petrol pump with the sucker hose to get those out, all my high pressure electric. So what I'm going to have to do is put the tap on into a big trug and put the pump in the trug, and I'll empty them all out so that both tanks are empty, waiting for the rain. That should work. I've emptied the big green tank. I'm just leaving that tap running up. That one's a lot quicker because it's straight out the tank, not out of tap. So that should, the pump should keep up with that. And that is flying out of there, look. It's just starting to rain as well, so I'm just gonna empty this tank, and then I'm ready to keep collecting more water then. So it's been raining already as I'm pumping out, so I'm already collecting some more water. But I've now got an extra 4,100 litres of water. I had to stack the tanks this way. The 7th tank I had to put over there next to my other IBCs, just purely because it was going to block my gateway, so I've put them sideways on just to leave me a little bit more room going up there, apart from that one at the end, and that's not going to really get in my way too much there. But that's a nice lot of extra water storage for the smallholding. So that's another little winter project done, a good extra bit of storage for the summer. It's just nice to have that extra bit of water, to know that I can at least go a few weeks without having to start bringing water down in the van. What I will do is in the spring, when I set up my inverter, my automatic watering systems, I'll show you how I do that and what I use and that as well. Something quite interesting, I'm sure. But anyway, we'll see you next time, guys. Take it easy.